Okay, if you had told me that Disney was going to reboot Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, this movie is not what I would have ever predicted. Hey everyone, Ryan Reed here, and today we are talking about the 2022 film on Disney Plus that just came out, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. A reboot, relaunch, a version, a movie inspired by the classic animated TV show. It's very confusing. Anyway, okay, so for anybody who needs a refresher, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers was a show from the late 80s, early 90s on Disney afternoons when Disney was kind of taking this approach to some of their properties. They were turning them into TV shows where they would take established characters mostly and then kind of rework them into new scenarios. So that's how you got shows like Tailspin or DuckTales, of course, or Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, the one we're talking about today. And it was Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers was basically a detective show starring Chip and Dale. They would go, they would solve crimes. They worked with two other characters who were mice, I believe. Don't get me wrong, I did watch Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, but it was not like one of my favorite shows. I enjoyed the show, but it wasn't like a Nickelodeon show or Cartoon Network show where it's like embedded in my brain and I know all the episodes. Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers was really great for its soundtrack, like the opening theme, and just the established characters. Like I said, you had Chip, you had Dale, and you had Gadget, and you had Monterey Jack. So, you know, a totally fun show. And it's a show that has a great fan base. A lot of people are huge fans of those Disney afternoon shows. You know, I enjoy DuckTales, I enjoy Darkwing Duck. Like, all those shows are great. But what Disney did was something very different. They took the idea and they turned it into a movie where if you took Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers and you took Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and you took The Lonely Island, you know, the comedian musicians, and you know, skit artists or whatever, those guys, you know, Lonely Island, and you combined them into a blender and swirled it around and put it on Disney Plus, that is this movie. And that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. And to be fair, the movie's not written by the Lonely Island guys, but it is directed by one of them. It stars Andy Samberg. I think they produced it. So, you know, it's got their comedy influence on it for sure. And the movie's just like super meta and weird and crazy, and it's bizarre, and it's good. It's actually really, really good. The basic plot goes like this. Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers in this universe was a show. It was an actual show, much like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where they would like film it like it was like a movie, but with cartoon characters who exist in reality. They exist alongside human beings. Chip and Dale, you know, the two chipmunks, have been friends since they were young in school. They went to LA, they got this show, they established Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers alongside, like I said, Gadget and Monterey Jack and everything. And then because of a falling out, it's been years and they haven't talked to each other since the show was canceled. And now through a series of events that I don't want to spoil here, they end up having to work together on a new case. Just like their old TV show. Chip is played by John Mulaney in this case. Andy Samberg plays Dale, and it's like, it's got so many, I don't want to spoil any of the jokes because I saw the trailers for this movie and I was kind of, honestly, they were kind of off-putting. I don't know what it is about the way the trailers were cut, or if it was just not what I was expecting, or what, but they just didn't quite land with me. And I watched the movie because I thought, oh, you know, let's give it a shot. And the movie is significantly better than what I expected from the trailers. There are truly some laugh-out-loud moments in this movie. Like, seriously, I laughed multiple times, besides the extra, like, chuckles and everything that I had just throughout the movie as a whole. There are moments that truly caught me off guard and I thought were hilarious. And again, I don't want to go into spoilers because I think this is a movie that's kind of fun if you don't know where it's going. But what Disney allows them to do with some of the characters and some of the characters that they license to be in this movie, just even as background characters, is mind-boggling to me. We've been dealing with this idea of like reboots, and they're doing these like CGI reboots of like classic Disney properties, and what does that mean for the 2D versions and stuff. And they kind of tie that all in a really clever way via like essentially plastic surgery. Like, these characters go through this like 3D process to kind of make them big stars again and stuff, and it's a lot of it is really brilliantly written in that way, and I was not expecting that. The movie also has some like weird little twists and turns that I was not expecting, or like way darker moments than I was expecting them to be able to go with a Disney movie. Like, it truly feels like they were just kind of like, nah, you know, go do what you want. And, you know, the writers and the Lonely Island guys and stuff were like, you sure we can do that with this character? And they're like, yeah, that's fine, go do what you want. And like, nobody questioned it, they just kind of let them do it. And the movie's actually, you know, it works most of the time. It's got a surprisingly kind of heartfelt, you know, underside to it. You know, nothing is super like original, but the idea of these two friends kind of like coming back together and stuff, and it is kind of heartfelt. The jokes that land, and like, yeah, there are some like pop culture jokes that I don't think are gonna age particularly well. You know, it may not stand the test of time. I don't like predicting, you know, where movies are going to be, but it may not stand the test of time because of some of these very specific pop culture jokes. That being said, in the moment, these jokes, some of them are just really, really funny and really good at commenting on the world currently with reboots, with animation, with CGI, with like all that stuff, and what we've been through, the history of it, as well as kind of where we're at now, and it's really, really smart. There are some jokes that don't land, of course. There's a few little things that are just kind of like, they're okay, and some of the plot points are kind of predictable. There are moments where it really shines, where jokes land incredibly well, or where, you know, I was not expecting the plot to go that way, and then there's other things that kind of feel a bit more kind of typical, a bit more kind of like, yeah, all right, I kind of saw this is where that was going, and that's not inherently bad. I mean, storytelling is sometimes like that. Sometimes it's good to just tell a story that everybody kind of knows, and just kind of turn it on its head, which is what this movie does. It doesn't go too far into like being one of those like animated films that's more aimed at like, it's for adults, but you know, or it's just nostalgia. Like a lot of movies now are just nostalgia, and this movie comments on that, and that idea of like, what you can actually do with a reboot to kind of make it fresh. Like, this is a movie, if you've never seen Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, the original series, you can probably go into this and you won't get every single little joke, but you'll get the majority of them, and it still works as kind of like this idea of like actors going about their life after their shows have ended, and what that means, and how they deal with the world. And there's a lot of really funny jokes. They're kind of just throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks, and you can tell that this is a really earnest movie. Like, this is a movie made by people who actually want to, like, not only respect the original fan base, I think at least, but also, like, tell something new and tell something true and tell something honest. This isn't just like a cash grab. This isn't just Disney being like, let's reboot Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers because people love that and we own Chip 'n Dale and stuff. But instead what they're doing is they kind of took it into a weird direction I was not expecting, sometimes a very dark direction for like a PG movie. Even when I wasn't just laughing out loud hysterically, I was chuckling, or I would smile, or whatever. You know, everything in it is pretty good. Once again, a couple things that don't land, but the good really outweighs the bad here, and I'm kind of surprised it just was put on Disney+. So yeah, if you were like me and you were kind of like off-put by the trailers, you know, but if you like the Lonely Island guys, or if you like live action interacting with, you know, cartoons, or you like, you know, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, like, I still say give this a shot. It's not a perfect movie, but for what it is, it's incredibly enjoyable, incredibly well put together. I'm not saying it's gonna, you know, change your mind. Maybe you'll hate it, maybe you'll like it, but for me, it was absolutely a pleasant surprise. I'm glad I sat down to watch it. If you want to see more videos like this, though, check out some of the other impromptu reviews I have on this channel, talking about movies, TV shows, whatever, just off the top of my head, and I do ramble kind of like this, but if you want to see something a little bit more structured, check out my Fright Films episodes. That's my analytical, you know, written, scripted horror movie review show where I break things down. On top of that, you can check out my food reviews on this channel, you can check out my artwork videos, all kinds of stuff. So subscribe if you want to be notified when new videos, you know, come out, and ring the bell to get notified, as all the YouTubers like to say, and I'll talk to you all next time. Bye.